What if the most powerful technology we've created becomes a force for extraordinary good, or introduces us to risks we're not ready for? Today I want to borrow two very different perspectives from two prominent voices in the AI world. Because the truth is, reasonable experts do not agree on where this technology ultimately lands. First, Geoffrey Hinton, often referred to as the godfather of AI, was one of the foundational researchers behind the modern neural networks. In interviews, he's been increasingly direct that we need to take the existential risks of AI seriously. He uses this analogy. We're like someone raising a cute little tiger cub, and the question is whether we can be sure it won't want to kill us when it's fully grown. Hinton talks about a world where systems become more intelligent than humans, where he worries that there's no guaranteed path to safety, and where turn it off may not be as simple as people assume.
What do you say to someone who might argue if the systems become malevolent, just turn them off?
They will be able to manipulate people, right? And these will be very good at convincing people because they'll have learned from all the novels that were ever written, all the books by Machiavelli, all the political connivances. They'll know all that stuff. They'll know how to do it.
Hinton also criticized the fact that major AI companies have strong financial incentives to move fast. And he's warned that some of the biggest players have pushed to reduce regulation, all while publicly saying that safety matters. So in Hinton's worldview, the core question is, are we building something we may not be able to control? Now, contrast that with Zack Kass, former head of go-to-market with OpenAI, who's built a public message around the idea that AI is moving us into an age of unmetered intelligence. In Kass's framing, intelligence becomes more like electricity, cheap, embedded everywhere, and widely accessible. The shift, he argues, could be life-changing in a way that pushes humanity to new heights in science, medicine, and technology. He points to the possibility of accelerating breakthroughs, medical innovation, new discoveries, broad-based productivity gains, while acknowledging the real turbulence: scams, bad actors, identity disruption, and job displacement. Unlike Hinton, his big emphasis isn't we're doomed, rather tomorrow can be better than today, if we adapt. Let's briefly consider any possible conflicts of interest. Hinton has said leaving Google helped him speak freely about AI risks. Kass earns his living through speaking and consulting on AI. So it's worth asking how incentives might influence each of their perspectives. Now, here's one of the biggest collision points in the AI conversation: work. If AI keeps taking on more tasks, customer support, scheduling, analysis, even parts of white-collar work, it's reasonable to wonder what happens if fewer people are needed in the workforce. That's why the topic of universal basic income comes up so quickly. If fewer people have jobs, the practical question is simple: how do people pay bills? If you lean towards Zack Kass's optimism, AI creating abundance and pushing humanity forward, UBI can sound like a bridge. If productivity explodes, maybe society shares more of the upside, especially with those who no longer have work. But that raises an even deeper issue. If income is covered, what happens to the role work plays in a healthy life? For many people, work is where they experience responsibility, contribution, serving others, and daily structure. So if work changes dramatically, what fills that gap? And then there's the economic incentives question. If people can receive income without working, what motivates enough people to keep doing the jobs that are hard, stressful, or unpopular? If you lean more towards Geoffrey Hinton's concern, the rapid displacement could be destabilizing to society. Finally, there's the question: if baseline income becomes the solution, who controls the lever? The government's one answer, but in an AI-driven economy, some worry it could also concentrate in just a handful of companies, the ones controlling the most powerful models, computing and distribution power, and platforms. We must ask who sets the terms, who decides what baseline is, and what happens if or what conditions get attached later. So UBI isn't just a policy idea, it's a doorway into bigger ideas. What does it look like for people of communities to flourish when the nature of work shifts, and how do we navigate that wisely? So what do we do with two smart people looking at the same technology and landing in totally different places? A practical takeaway is this: don't build your worldview or future or your life on uncertainties. Hinton is a reminder to take risk, incentives, and guardrails seriously. Kass is a reminder that breakthroughs and abundance are real possibilities and adaptation matters. AI might become the greatest accelerator of human flourishing or a genuine civilization-level risk. The honest answer is, we don't know. But we can stay thoughtful and stay grounded and prepare for a world that's changing faster than any of us are used to.